Okay, so this is our last video over section 4.5. So hopefully you guys remember parallel lines have the exact same slope. Perpendicular lines have to have the opposite reciprocal slope. So opposite signs and the flip fractions. And these will be the symbols that I'm using a lot. So this is my symbol for parallel lines. This is my symbol for perpendicular lines. So I'll be using those just so you're not confused. Okay, so our next example. So it's going to be very similar, but a little bit of a twist to the problems that we have been doing. So write an equation in slope-intercept form. That goes through the point 4, -2, and is parallel to the line y equals 3/4 x plus 9. Okay, so that is our new task. Okay, so a couple of things I need to know here. So ultimately, I do want the equation in slope-intercept form. I want it to be parallel to this line, which means I want the exact same slope. So what I want you guys to do always over here is just to write down what you need. Okay, so if I want a line that's parallel to this one, I need whatever slope they have over here. I want the exact same slope. So my m has to be 3/4. Then I need a point. That's my only other given piece of information. My point is 4, -2. And then this is all I need. This is all I need to do the problem. So once I have this bit of information, you do not need to look at this line anymore. This line means nothing to you. You use it for its slope and then you get rid of it, okay? So this is all the information that I need. So now it's just like the ones that we've been dealing with. I have a point and a slope. I have to go through point slope form. So y minus my y value at y minus -2 means I have y plus 2 equals my slope of 3/4 times x minus x1, which is 4. And then I just need to take my 2 steps. I need to distribute. So y plus 2 equals 3/4 x. And this one's actually really nice because now I can do 4 divided by 4. I can finally do that. So those cancel out. And then I just have 1 times 3, which is just 3. Although I do have a positive and a negative, so I have to make sure that my sign is negative. Again, this sign is one of the most crucial signs where you guys make mistakes. All right, so I'm going to be doing -3. And then I just have to subtract 2. And y equals 3/4 x. A negative minus a number is always going to be a bigger negative number, so this is going to be -5. So I'm slope-intercept form. That is what I want, so that means I can just stop right here. Okay, so this one was pretty easy. There was not a lot of math. I promise you that's going to change in just a second. Okay, so take that one in, pause its video if you need to. Let's go on to another one. We left off on P. So Q is going to look like write an equation in slope-intercept form. That goes through -6, 2. And is parallel to the equation y equals -3/2 x plus 1/4. Oh my gosh, this is where my brain is at. I'm so sorry. All right, hopefully you guys are listening to me. If you need to just pause it and write that down. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at moving my camera. Okay, so anyway, let us continue. So we need to know a couple of things. We need an equation in slope-intercept form, and we want it parallel to this line. So again, parallel means the exact same slope, so I want to use this guy for its slope. I want to write down what I have. So if I want to parallel to that slope, that means I want my slope of -3/2. And once I have that, this line means nothing to me anymore. So this like 1/4 has nothing to do with anything that we were doing over here. I use it for its slope and then I toss it out. That equation means nothing to me anymore. And then I just need to know what my point is that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with -6/2. And then again, when you're doing your homework, when you're doing practice, when you're doing your tests, I do want to see this step because a lot of people don't write this down and then they get very confused. What do you need from this? You need your point and your slope. So I'm just going to write them down. So now I can just look at this. I don't even need to reference really anything from here anymore. So y minus y1 is just 2 equals my slope, -3/2 times x minus x1. So x minus -6 is going to be a +6. Distribute y minus 2 equals -3/2 x. And again, this one's really nice because I always check, can I take my whole number and divide it by my denominator? And I can in this case. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 3 times -3 is -9. All right, so again, I always like taking that step. You can just multiply -3 times 6 is 18, and 18 divided by 2, you're still going to get -9. It just takes you a teeny bit longer, but whichever way makes more sense to you. Then I'm going to add the 2. Y equals -3/2 x minus 7. And again, what form am I supposed to get in? Slope-intercept. That means I am done. Okay. R. This one, and I'm not going to forget to move my camera this time. This one is the doozy. Lots of stuff going on over here. So write an equation in standard form that goes through -5, -12, and is perpendicular to 2x plus 3y equals 12. All right, lots of stuff going on in this one over here. So first of all, not only am I not going into slope-intercept form, I have to go into standard form. So if you remember, as soon as I get an equation into slope-intercept form, it's extra steps to get it into standard form. And then now I want it perpendicular to this one. And before, up here, I would say I want it parallel to the slope y equals mx plus b. And I was like, oh, this is my slope right here. And I'm just going to pull it down here. You guys should notice that this is in standard form. Ax plus by equals c. Where is your m in that? So this is in standard form, ax plus by equals c. There is no m. So that means that you need to put this into slope-intercept form. So you need to put this into y equals mx plus b so I can actually pull out an m. There is no m in slope-intercept form. So you're going to have to do a little bit of side work over here just to see what my slope is. So I'm just going to rewrite my equation, 3x plus 3y equals 12. So again, you should be getting good at putting this into slope-intercept form. So the first thing I need to do is subtract my x's. So now I have 3y equals, I want the x's first, -2x, positive 12, plus 12. And then I have to divide everything by 3. So y equals -2/3 x plus 4. Okay, so this is in slope-intercept form now. But remember, I always want you to pull out your slope and your point. And my point, and I know you can't, oh, you still can't see it, -5, -12. But when I am pulling out my slope, Remember, I want a slope that is perpendicular to this slope. So I can't just pull out my negative 2/3. I want a slope that is perpendicular to that. So I want opposite reciprocals of this. This one is negative, so I want a slope that is going to be positive, and then I want the reciprocals. So instead of 2/3, now I want the flipped, I want 3/2. So my slope is going to be positive 3/2. So that's just another thing that you have to watch out for. But now, since I have these two things, now I can really almost ignore everything up here, except for I need to know that it's in a standard form that we're ultimately going to, but I have my point and my slope that I'm going to use. So regardless if I'm going into standard form or slope-intercept form, I need to go through point-slope form first because I just have a point and a slope. So y minus y1, so y minus negative 12 is y plus 12 equals my slope, which was 3/2, x minus x1, so x minus negative 5 is going to be x plus 5. Distribute. So y plus 12 equals 3/2 x. I cannot divide my whole number by my denominator anymore, so I do have to just multiply across. So 3 times 5 is 15. They're both positive. So positive 15 over just 2. Okay. And then I do have to subtract my 12. And again, I want common denominators. So this is 12/1. Oh my gosh, too many pens in my hand. 12/1. Want to make it into a common denominator of 2. So that means I am subtracting negative 24 minus 2. So I have 15/2 minus 24/2. So that's what I'm subtracting together. So now I have y equals 3/2 x. 15 minus 24 is negative 9. Stays over the same denominator. So now I have y equals 3/2 x minus 9/2. But again, I don't want it into slope-intercept form anymore. I want it into standard form. That means I have to take it a step farther. So remember, standard form looks like this. You have to have all integers over here. A has to be a positive whole number. So I have to still keep on working on this one. So I have to move my x's to the left side now. X's go first, so negative 3/2 x plus 1y equals negative 9/2. And again, you have to ask yourself, is this standard form? And this is not, because not only is a negative, a is not a whole number. So that means I have to multiply this entire equation by a number that's going to turn these two, because c has to be a whole number too, it has to be an integer. So I have to multiply it by a number that's going to cancel out just 2. When you're trying to cancel out the same denominator like 2, that just means you are multiplying by 2 or 2/1. The positive 2 in the numerator is always going to cancel out the 2 in the numerator. In the denominator. But now this 2 is not going to make a positive because a is already negative, so I have to make it a negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. That means the 2's are going to cancel out over here. So that means I'm just left with positive 3x. Then make sure you are distributing to every single thing. A lot of you guys, for these ones, you always forget about this little y in the middle. Make sure you're distributing to everything. Negative 2 times y is just negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 9/2. Negative times a negative is a positive. The 2's are just going to cancel out, so it's just going to be positive 9. Okay, and that is officially it. I know that was a lot, but we are going to spend both sessions practicing over this, so make sure you are coming with questions.